A classic East Coast snow setup may be waking up again. In this update, we are tracking a possible snowstorm path. It is the kind many of us miss. The East Coast has not seen this look much lately. Heavy snow is not yet a lock, but the pattern is starting to lean that way. I will show what is happening right now. Then we will examine the broader January pattern ahead. If you enjoy these updates, tap like and share them. Subscribe if you are new here. Drop a comment and hype the video. It helps more than you think. Let's jump into the forecast. A winter storm is already taking shape. It is focused on the upper Midwest and Great Lakes. On the maps, the blue shading shows the trough. That is the dip in the jet stream. It supports colder air and stormy weather. The orange shading shows a ridge. That usually means warmer air and calmer skies. Right now, that ridge is set up over the Pacific Northwest. It is also pushing into southern Canada. There is another ridge east of the Great Lakes storm. That one is sitting over the northeast. So we have a storm in between. We also have ridges on both sides. That matters for what comes next. As we move into tomorrow, that winter storm slides toward the northeast. That brings unsettled conditions over that region. Meanwhile, the ridge begins to flex back toward the Midwest. That can get a break in the cold. It can also bring some milder air at times. So Sunday turns into a transition day for many. Snow is still a big issue near the Great Lakes. Rain is more likely closer to the immediate coast. Then, colder air creeps in behind the system later on. Now, let's zoom in on the precipitation type. The blue areas represent snow. The green areas represent rainfall. Most of the steady snow hugs close to the Great Lakes. There is also a key short-term threat overnight. That is, snow squalls. Northern Illinois is in the zone. Southern Wisconsin is also in the zone. Parts of Indiana are included too. A snow squall is not like a normal snow band. It can hit hard and fast. It can drop heavy snow for a short time. Then it can shut off quickly. That is why it catches people off guard. Lake effect snow becomes a bigger concern by Sunday morning. Lower Michigan is a main target. Some of that lake effect may also reach western New York. Areas along the northeast coast that start as rain can flip later. As colder air settles in, rain may change to snow showers. You might also see scattered flurries. This is more likely during the second half of Sunday. It will not be a widespread blizzard setup there, but it can still create slick spots. Visibility is the real danger with snow squalls. These squalls can be very narrow. You can drive 5 to 10 miles and hit a wall. Snow can fall so hard that the road disappears. Visibility can drop to half a mile fast. It can even drop to a quarter mile at times. Then you keep driving, and it is suddenly fine. You may not even see snow at all. That quick change is what makes squalls risky. This is why we are watching Illinois and Wisconsin closely. Indiana is included as well. Then the risk shifts into Ohio by Sunday morning. So if you are heading out Sunday morning, use extra caution. Maybe you are driving to a service. Maybe you are running errands. Maybe you are making a grocery run. Maybe you are heading to a family member's house. Maybe you are watching football and meeting friends. Whatever the plan is, take it slow. Leave more space between cars. Avoid sudden braking if roads turn slick. A squall can turn a normal drive into a mess fast. Let's look at the rainfall side. The most steady rain favors the northeast coastal strip. Areas from Boston down towards New York City see this rain threat. Long Island, in particular, could pick up a solid amount. Providence could also add a decent total. Some spots may reach around an inch of additional rainfall by early Monday. This is not a flood event for most places, but it can create ponding in poor drainage areas. It also matters if colder air rushes in later. Wet roads can freeze once temperatures drop. Now, snowfall totals. The heaviest snow is actually north of the border. Canada gets the big hit from the core system, but northern Maine can do well too. Areas near Caribou could see 8 to 12 inches. That is a meaningful storm for that region. Elsewhere, the lake effect becomes the bigger story. Parts of Michigan could see a few inches. Some locations could see several inches. Lake effect can be very localized. Your town could get hammered. Another town nearby could get much less. Temperatures are still fairly mild in the southeast right now. Down there, it does not feel like deep winter. The desert southwest is cooler than normal. Behind the Great Lakes system, cooler air spreads into the east. This is not a true Arctic blast, it is not that kind of extreme cold, but it is colder than what many have felt lately. The upper Midwest is already feeling that chill this evening. Wind chills are mostly in the single digits there. Many spots are still above zero. A few readings dip below zero in parts of eastern North Dakota. Northwest Minnesota can see some sub-zero wind chills too. The good news is that it is not an intense deep freeze. By Sunday morning, more areas will feel the bite. Wind chills in the single digits spread farther east. Some places drop into the teens as well. So if you are heading out early, plan for that. Warm up the car if you can. Dress in layers. Cover exposed skin if the winds are up. The chill can sneak up on you. By Sunday afternoon, many spots recover quickly. The farther south and west you go, the faster that warm-up happens. The plains can rebound the most. Now, let's talk about next week. This is the window many East Coast snow lovers are watching. It is the kind of week that can flip the whole feel of winter. The big signal is the pattern itself. A strong ridge builds in the western part of the country. It also pushes into southwest Canada at times. When that ridge is strong, the atmosphere reacts downstream. It often responds by digging a trough in the east. Sometimes it can even create more than one trough signal. That is what we are watching. The middle to late week is the key window. That is when an East Coast winter storm becomes possible. Let's compare the guidance. One model solution shows a clipper system early in the week. This is energy diving down from Canada. It rides the polar jet. That setup can bring snow into Ontario and Quebec. It can also bring light snow into New England. There is also a secondary low that can form in the Ohio Valley. If that happens, a couple of inches could fall in parts of that region. That is more of a quick hitter system. It would also help reinforce cooler air in the east. Later in the week, the next signal appears. One solution shows southern energy trying to ride up the coast, but in that version it stays too far offshore. That would mean a drier look for the northeast. It would still be cold. It would just be cold without a heavy coastal snow. That is a frustrating outcome for many. It is also very possible this far out. Another solution is more aggressive. It still brings that early clipper. It then pushes a stronger snow signal into the northeast afterward. In that version, snow becomes more organized from the mid-Atlantic into New England. That could include the big cities along the coastal corridor. Then it hints at an even larger storm behind it. That would create a 1-2 punch idea. One system hits first, then a stronger system follows on its heels next weekend. Do not lock onto snowfall totals this far out. That is not the best way to track it yet. Instead, focus on the storm track and the cold supply. One solution is warmer near the coast. That would mean more rain or ice close to the shoreline. Inland areas would do better for snow. Another solution is colder overall. That colder setup pushes the storm track farther south. It can also suppress the system just enough. That can place the best snow band over major metro areas. This is the classic coastal snowstorm look people talk about. It is the kind that can hit Washington, D.C. It can also hit Baltimore and Philly. It can reach New York City and Hartford. It can reach Boston and up into Maine too. Portland, Maine would be in play. It is also the kind of storm that can shift at the last moment. A small change in track can mean rain in one place. It can mean heavy snow in another place. So we watch the trend, not a single frame. Now, let's talk about temperatures behind any big storm. When you get a strong coastal system, it can pull cold air in fast. Midweek looks colder in the east in many runs. The west stays milder with Pacific air feeding in. Then, if the colder solution verifies late week, the push could be stronger. In the most extreme version, cold air could press far south. It could even reach into Florida with below normal readings. Some areas could run close to 20 degrees below normal for a time. That is not guaranteed, but it shows what the pattern can support. If a deep snowpack builds along the coastal corridor, that changes everything. Snow on the ground reflects sunlight. It also cools the air near the surface. That can lock in colder daytime highs. It can also boost overnight lows. Then wind chills can drop fast when winds pick up. In that scenario, below zero wind chills become possible. That could include parts of the central Appalachians. It could also reach into New England. Snow cover can also help future storms stay snowier. It creates its own feedback loop. Looking deeper into the month, the pattern may adjust again. The cold source in eastern Canada next week could shift westward later. That is called retrograding. When that happens, Western Canada becomes the cold reservoir. At the same time, there are hints of a southeast ridge trying to return. That can nudge warmer air into the southern tier. If the northeast has snow on the ground, it may stay colder there anyway. Snow-free areas warm faster. That often includes parts of the southeast and southern plains. Even with that shift, the northeast still looks favoured for more snow chances. Late month signals still point to a storm track that can target that region. Heavier snow threats may focus there again during that stretch. Out west, the story is not done either. If cold air spins around that Western Canada source, more energy can dive south. That can mean more mountain snow. British Columbia could see more heavy snow. The Pacific Northwest can also see impacts, especially at higher elevations. We will keep tracking all of it closely. Winter weather will stay active across the continent, so stick with these updates, like and share if this helped you out. Subscribe if you are new here. If you want to help push us there, hit that subscribe button. Leave a comment with your thoughts on the pattern. Tell me where you are located and what you expect. Hype the video and keep the conversation going. Thanks for all your support, and stay safe out there.